Hello everyone and welcome to another lesson. I'm very happy to have you here with me today. Today we're gonna all go over some basic stuff. I've been doing a lot of videos recently about workflows and blueprints and builds, but it's good to get back sometimes to the basics and go over some of the stuff that will help us in every other workflow that we do, in every other automation that we will do. Today we're going to go over strings function inside of N8N. I know the term sounds a bit complex. Don't worry, I'm not a programmer, I'm not a coder, I'm not a developer, I'm not a tech person. I'll explain things to you the way I understood them. I'll explain things to you in a simple way so that you understand them. It will be a good refresher for me and for you as well. But before I start, I just want to point your attention to my community inside of Skool. Here you'll find so many resources available inside. You will find courses for both Make and N8N, especially for beginners and intermediate levels. You'll also find all of the blueprints that I've done both for Make and for N8N and also for Comfy UI. Those are available to download as well, and you will also find live builds where I take some of the most complex workflows and blueprints that I do, and I start them from scratch and build them node by node with you and explaining how I do stuff so you guys can understand furthermore. So there are here over 50 workflow and blueprint available for you to download. Also, I'm in there in the community tab here where you can ask as much questions as you want. If you run into problems, if you need some help, you can always reach out inside of the community. It's a community where we can all grow together, we'll help each other, and we'll move each other forward as we go. I encourage you to join, and I see you inside. All right, so the first node is usually the trigger node. So the node that starts everything, that starts the workflow, it's usually one of three. It's usually a scheduled trigger that runs each while, like each and every time. It's either a manual where you can click to start and you cannot activate it, or it's a webhook of some sort and kind where it's triggered by external signals like an external website, an external request that will start this workflow. For our needs this time we'll just do manual because we just need to inspect and go over some of the basic stuff. And a very good way is to go over the edit fields. The edit fields, I have a lesson on YouTube, just go and watch that. It's a very basic but also very important node for you to use. Here you can create your variables, create your store stuff, and you can do a lot of things in there. So let us start. Today we're going to do string functions. So if you're wondering what is a string in basic terms for everybody to understand is a text. So any text that is built with characters, right? Any text that is built by letters, okay, is called a string. Now let's name this string, and as you can see here, the type, there's several types. I go over these in my courses, as I mentioned before, one by one. So once you're in the community, make sure to check those lessons out where I go into each and every one of these and explain them. So we're gonna choose string, and once we choose string, now we can start doing an expression. And a quick tip for you guys: if you want to switch to expression, you can either click here expression, or you can click the equal sign. It will immediately switch to an expression. Okay, as you can see here, if I go to fix and I click, it immediately goes. I don't have to go and click on this button. Anyways, so I'm now in expression mode. And expression mode means that I can write an expression, but I also can write just text here. It works as well. The fixed one is the one that is limited to only text, but the expression can handle both. So always just go for the expression one. That's what I do. So in order to write an expression inside of N8N, I just need to write double of these brackets, and once I do, it will just open up this like this menu where I can choose from. And this is how a syntax or an expression is built, by two brackets. If I want to build a string which is text, I cannot just write text, because that's not how an expression, a string is. A string usually is wrapped between double quotes. So if I click double quotes here, as you can see, it turns into green and it says empty. So this is now an empty string. Okay, this is now is an empty string. So let me rename this. You know I like to rename stuff, right? It's a thing. So I'm going to rename this, and I'm going to rename this one as well. Okay, so if I test this now, you will see that the name string, but it's empty. And if I go to JSON, as you can see, it says string, it's called string, and it has no value inside because we didn't put anything. Okay, now if I now put something, say hello everyone, and then we test, as you can see, the result is a text. So here it gives us the result of whatever expression we put here. And if we test, we'll see that now we have a string that is called hello everyone. Perfect. So now we have a string here. All right. Now this is building a string inside, right? This is building a string here, but you can just put, like, for example, have it fixed and say hello everyone, and then test, and you will have the same result. But what I want is, I want this expression so I can, here at the end of the string between double quotes, I can put dot, and then I can now access all of the functions that a string has. Now remember, we're dealing with a string, so these are functions related to a string. If we switch to another type, it will be a different kind of functions. Okay, so every type of variable has a different type of functions. Now there are several bits here. There's the suggested, there's the edit, there's the query, there's the validate, and there's the case, and also at the end there's the cast. So there's a lot here to go through, but the suggested one is the most the ones that are mostly used. This is why it gives you the suggested, but the suggested are scattered between all of these anyways. Okay, so let's go over some of them. So there's a lot of them that you might not use, but there's a lot of them that are very also important to know. Okay, so let's start with suggested. So includes, let's write includes. So now it gives us the result false, because it includes needs a parameter. So I need to put in between double quotes, and I'll need to put like h. If I put h, it's true because it finds h in there. But if I put z, then it says false, because includes basically searches the string for whatever you want. Okay, I'm telling it, does the letter z exist? It tells me no. If I say, does the hello exist? False, but I put it just one L. If I put 2L, then it is true. So false, true or false is a boolean type. Okay, so this just makes sure that certain letters and certain words are in there. Another one is split. So a split gives us an array, right? An array, and a split usually splits here it tells you, and it gives you an example. So it usually splits the string that we have into parts. Okay, so if I want to split based on a space, we will have hello and then world inside of an array. Okay, if I want to split based on and I don't put anything, it will split it all based on each and every character. Okay, if I want to split on based on the word the L, it will split HE, and then it will not include the letter that you specify. Okay, just keep that in mind. But this will result in an array of items. If I split based on Y, as you can see here, you'll have that. Split is very important. I encourage you to use it. There's a lot of use cases for it. So start with basically checks if the if it starts with a certain letter. So if we say starts with H, it will be true. It starts with Z, it is false. Starts with hello with one L, it is false. Start with hello with double L, it is true. Okay, just checks if the string starts with a certain character or word. Replace all is also very important. So replace all basically here gives you a what it does. So if I want to replace all hello with, I want to tell it what do I want to replace it by hi. Okay, so it just replaces the word hello with hi. So if I want, this is good. I use this if, for example, if I'm doing a slug. If you don't know what a slug is, it's the URL of a like of a website. For example, a URL would be example.com dash contact then slash then contact dash us. This is the slug. And if I want to make a slug, what I would do is I would want to replace all the space with a dash. So now it gives me hello everyone. So this would be a slug if I want to make, for example, a blog post and I want to put the slug of that blog post. I can take the title and turn it into this format. Okay, so replace all basically searches for something. You had to give it two parameters. One, what do you want to search for, and then what do you want to replace it with. All right. So dot, moving forward. Length is also important. So length give you how many characters does this word has. So 14, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So it also counts the space. Okay. So these are the most important ones, and then we can go over some of the other one. So concat, for example, adds a word to the, for example, I want to add hello everyone, and then I want to add a period. It adds it to the end. Okay. So whatever you put here, adds it to the end. Okay, if you want to add certain things to the string. Okay, so extract domain and extract URL email. This is good. I'll go through that. So let's change our string here to example at example.com. So when I say extract domain, it will just take this part and give it. Okay, and when I say I want the email, it gives us the email. Even if there's a lot of things here, it'll only give us the email. Okay, this is very beneficial if you're, for example, scraping a website and you're searching for an email. This is a good use case for that. And then there's the other extract. There's the URL. So there's no URL here, so a simple URL would be for example example.com. So the URL would be this one, the whole thing. If we only put the domain here, it will not give us anything. Okay, so this is the URL, and if we put, for example, here contact, then us, it gives us the whole thing. Okay, so the other one is the extract URL path, which is only the contact us. Okay, this is also very beneficial. So these are very beneficial ones for string functions. So the hash would be turning this into a like a privacy thing if you want to hide certain elements. The code is a good one. It will just take whatever you give it and put it inside double quotes. This is good if you want to make something a JSON, for example, or if you want to just add a code to whatever text you have. Remove markdown. So if you have any HTML markdown here, so for example, if you have P paragraph, it will remove it. Okay. So for example, if you scrape the website and it gives you the HTML, you can just remove markdown from here. But there's also another node that also removes markdown inside of N8N. So where we were, so remove markdown, remove tags, replace all. So I always use replace all because replace just the first instance it finds, it just does that, but replace all, it searches for all instances that exists inside inside of the string. But replace only chooses for the first instance that it happened. Okay, so for example, if we say replace and we want to say E, replace E with A, and then see, it only took the E, the first one, and it didn't take the other one. But if we say all, here it replaced everything. Okay, that's the example I was talking about. So always use replace all if you want to handle all instances. So replace special characters, as the word says. So slice is a good one. So slice, you can, as the word suggests, you can slice a section of the string. And here is a good example. So if we say slice and we put double quotes and we put nothing, it gives us everything. If we say slice and then 0, sorry, it's not with quotes. If we say slice 0, it gives us everything. If we say slice 7, and as you can see now, it removed 7 characters from the beginning. If we say slice 3, it removes 3 characters from the beginning. Okay, and also we can go negative. Okay, and we can go within a range. So for example, I say I want 0, between 0 and 5. It only gives us the first bit. Or I can say minus 3, and it gives us the last bit. Okay. So this is just, as imagine you have a cake and you want to slice part of it. Here you can specify what you want to slice. And you can combine this with another dot length, for example, where you can specify that you want based on the length. So you want the other end to be the full length, and the first bit you specify, so you know how much, because not all of the time we know how much characters we have. Okay, so slice is a good, also common one that I use. Split, we went through it at the beginning. So substring, it's the same thing as slice, I would say. So use slice better. So to JSON string, so what this does is basically wraps it in quotes. Same thing as quote, but this is another one. Trim basically removes any spaces at the beginning. So if we say spaces at the beginning and end, trim just remove that. It's very good if you have spaces and you want to get rid of those. So if we put space in here, it exists, but it only works on the beginning and end, just to clean things up. So trim end, trim start, same thing. If you only want to trim the end, and if you only want to trim the start, this trim trims the start and end, and here you can have more control over what you want. So URL decode, URL encode. This is sometimes. Here it gives you an example. Sometimes inside of the URL you see these kind of letters like a percentage, these are usually replaced. So if I want to encode this, as so as you can see, this now is turned into this. All the dots and the slashes are switched to this format, right? So that this is how you encode or you decode a URL. I used this, I think, once in a workflow before. It's not very common to use, but sometimes you need to use it because you need to work with certain URLs that are encoded, and you need to just decode them. So URL. Okay, now we go to the query. So endsWith. So this makes sure if it ends with a certain things. If we say ends with S true and with Z false, make sure that the end of the string ends with a certain thing and gives you true or false. So includes makes sure that the word includes certain stuff. I want to make sure that it includes HTTPS. It gives us true. I want to make sure it includes T. It goes false. Okay. So this is includes indexOf. Is also could be beneficial. So if I want to search what is the index of a certain thing, like the word HTTPS. So here it consists of the first occurrence of the search string. Okay, so if we say example, gives us at 8, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Exactly. So it always starts as 0. Remember that dot length that it gave us how many characters we have? Yeah, this this if you want to search for something that exists or not. Now if it doesn't exist, it gives you -1. If what you're searching it doesn't exist, it gives you -1. This is also important to keep in mind. If you're searching for the index of a certain thing, use indexOf. So lastIndexOf, so returns the index position of the last occurrence. Okay, so the last occurrence. So if I say, for example, I have the word E. If I say E, it gives us the last occurrence. So it says 14. So here 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 is the first occurrence. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 is the last occurrence. So it gives us the last index occurrence of a certain character that we're searching for. So we're at the query. Yeah. Then the length, we went through it. Then match search. So match is a matching with a regular expression. And like regex. So I don't know regex. I usually search ChatGPT to build me a regex, for example. If you want to build that, you can use ChatGPT. Here they give us an example. So this one will match everything that was starting with R. So this is the regex that searches for everything that starts with R. For example, let's change with E. Then it gives us the example. Okay. M, it gives us this. Okay. So regular expressions are very very powerful. You can write for things even more. You can validate a phone number. You can validate an email, a URL, search for stuff. It's much stronger and much more developed. So just use ChatGPT to build your own regex, and match would allow you to insert a regex. So search, also search takes a regex. So here we're searching for anything with R. It gives us -1 because there's nothing starting with R. But if we say E, it gives us, it starts with the index of 8. So another last, I think, yeah, startsWith is the same as endWith that we last endsWith and startsWith are the same. So validate is, this is validates if something is a domain or not. If we say email, is this an email? It says false, correct. So is this a domain? False, because it has HTTPS. If we remove this, then it goes to true. This is a URL, it's not a domain. So if we say is URL, then this gives us true. This would say is empty. So is it empty? False, it's not empty. But if we go like this, is empty, then it's true. And there is not empty as well, which is the opposite of this one. So is numeric? False, because this is not a number. But if we put here 1, then it goes to true. Excellent. Very useful ones, to be honest. So then we have the case. So to lowercase, in case we have stuff like this, it will always make sure that we have I use this a lot whenever I get text and I want to compare it or see that if it contains a certain thing with an if note. I just always do the to lowercase because I don't know what text I get, and it's always case sensitive. So I always make sure that it's lowercase, and then I compare it to a lowercase text. So validate, and we did lowercase, sentence case, N8 case, title case, uppercase, it's all the same. Okay, if we turn it to this uppercase, it will give us this version. And then the lowercase, sentence case, and everything is sentence case just makes sure the first one is capital. Okay, and then as you can see here, after the period, it made it capital as well. Okay. So you're probably wondering what is a snake case. So this is a snake case. Apparently. Okay, let's go. So we did the case, then the cast is actually transforming. So if you want to parse this to JSON, so if this was a JSON, this would parse it, but this is not a JSON. So here as an example, they give us this one. So this is a JSON, and once we parse it, we'll get the let's try that actually. Yeah, so now since we put it in this because it has already a bracket, and so we don't confuse N8N that this and this, so we'll put it in this single quote thing, not double quote. So when we parse it, we'll get an object with name and Nathan. Perfect. So let's get back to where we were before. This is parsing. It's also very important to know how to parse. In make.com, there's a node for parsing, okay? So to boolean, so this is a true statement because it has something. This is false because it doesn't have anything. If we write null, then it's true as well because it is something. So it always searches for something. If it doesn't find anything, then it's false. Then to number, cannot convert it to a number. So if we write a number here, so the number here is still a string because it's in double quotes, but when we say dot to number, then this is a number because we switch it to a number. Okay, so let's get back. I think we are, so to date and time, of course it cannot convert this to date and time because this is a string. But if we say, for example, let's do it here, let's do this, and then take this, for example, and put it here, it will also not, sorry, okay, cannot convert, okay, so it needs to convert to date and time. Here, let's see it, we need to give it this format for it to convert to date and time. Yeah, I think because I just left date and time here. Yeah, there you go. So if you give it a date inside of a string, it can convert it to a date object. Okay, so the last ones that we are going through are just functions that transform things. So it transforms it to boolean, transform it to date and time, then transform it to number. So if we go over, so we have the early ones are the edit ones that just slices, splits, replaces, and trims. And then the query one where you search for stuff inside of the string. Then the validate, which makes sure if the string is a certain is of a certain type, or if it contains a certain thing. And then the case here just switches to lowercase, smaller case, etc. And then the cast, which changes the type of string to another type. All right. So we went through the string functions just as an overview and as a reminder of the string functions that we have. These are very, very important. I encourage you to use those functions. I use them in most workflows that I do as well. To know that they exist is very important, because in the future you'll find yourself in a certain workflow, in a certain problem, and if you don't know that these exist, you'll just be wasting your time. But if you know, then you can always use them and solve your issues. Thank you for watching this lesson. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and don't forget to join my community. I will see you in there. See you in the next video.